Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm gonna talk about not rushing things in life. On my previous podcast, if you've listened to my podcast to now, I talk about you have to make choices in life. You have to be the one to bring the happiness to you. You know, if you don't look for happiness, if you don't chase after happiness, happiness will not come to your doorstep. There's no free ride to happiness. And the best way to look for happiness is finding the joy in life, finding the joy in the free things that life has to offer for you, Life has a lot of free things in life, and every free thing that you have in life, is valuable. Hold on to the good things in life. Just because something is free does not mean it's not valuable. The oxygen that you breathe, just because it's free, does not mean it's not valuable. So appreciate what you have in life, what you've already accomplished in life. Appreciate it, even if it's only a little thing, you know. If it's something as simple as just breaking a bad habit. Something as simple as breaking a bad habit is something you should appreciate in life. That's how you bring happiness to your doorstep. Appreciate yourself for being you. Appreciate yourself for being alive. Appreciate yourself for being a human being. Appreciate the world for what the world has brought to you. That's how you get happiness. That's one of the ways to be happy. But what I want to talk about on this podcast is the fact that since I've said so much about life. I've said so much about life that some people want to rush towards happiness. They want to rush towards a better life, a happier life. Being a better person, being a holier person, being a person who's more like Jesus Christ or who's more like God. Do not rush things in life. You know, you know, there's a saying that you can only eat food one mouthful at a time. You know, and that's how life works. You can only eat food one mouthful at a time. Do not try to rush things in life. If you try to rush things in life, if you eat too much too soon, you choke and kill yourself. There's a phrase that when you do too much, bad things happen. If you run too fast, you fall. If you jump too high, it's hard for you to land on your feet properly. That's how life works. If you run too fast, you fall. Take things gradually. You don't have to rush things in life. If you're working on a new project, right? Whatever business venture, if it's a relationship, if it's whatever it is, if you're starting something new, do not rush it. Take baby steps. Just be like a child. First you have to crawl, and then you have to take baby steps before you can run. A baby doesn't just stand up and start running. It first has to start crawling, and then it starts walking. And then after it's has gotten used to walking, then it starts to run. Be like that person. Do not rush things in life. When you rush things in life, that's when you fail. Even when things, when you feel pressure to rush things, take things down and slow things down. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business, whether it's just going out to eat, whether it's whatever venture you're going towards, whatever aspect of your life you're chasing after, whatever change you want to make in life, take things slow. If you rush things, you'll fail in the future. Sometimes, you have to build the expertise in whatever business venture or whatever path you're going towards. There are times when you need to learn. The beginning is when you learn how, things work. That way in the future, when problems come, they don't harm you as much. You can easily bounce back from them. It's easily to get back on your feet after you stumble. But you first have to know how to walk. If you don't know how to walk, the moment you fall, you'll never be able to get back up again. If you rush through life, the moment you fall, you'll never be able to get back up again. Take things slow in life, Do not rush yourself. Life is not a race. I know it's called the human race, but it's not a race. It's a journey. Take things slow in life, Do not force yourself to do things you're physically incapable of doing. It'll only harm you. Do not force yourself into a dead end relationship. Do not force yourself into a dead end job. Do not force yourself into a dead end friendship. Slow things down. If you get into a new relationship, new friendship, slow things down. Do not rush things. Before you guys end up hanging out, spend time talking to each other over time. Either on the phone or whatever, before you guys start hanging out. Before you give any random stranger your phone number or your house address. Do not give any random stranger your house address without, first vetting who that person is. Because once they have your house address, they can come over to your house anytime. And if you piss them off, they can come and start arguing with you at your own house. Your house should be a place where you get to relax and enjoy life. It should be a peaceful place, a place to unwind and and enjoy life. And be free from all the bad things in life. That's the last place you should let someone come in that you don't know, because then you have to move to a different location. When you get a stalker that keeps harassing you, you have to move to a different location in the future. Otherwise, that stalker could kill you, stalk you to your house and kill you. So if you're someone who's interacts with people on a daily basis, the last thing you should tell them is your house address. That's where you live on a daily basis. Slow things down in life. Do not rush. You need to know who you're dealing with before you start giving them important information about you. You need to know who you're interacting with, whether this person is actually a kind person or just pretending to be. You have to know the type of person you're dealing with before you start giving them, vital information about you. Sometimes it may take years before you end up, feeling comfortable with that person, but take your time. Do not allow them to rush you. The person who's rushing you is probably not someone who has your best interest at heart. If a person ever rushes you, they probably don't have your best interest at heart in anything. They're very controlling. Controlling people do not care about the people they're trying to control. They do not care whatsoever about the people they try to control. They see them as pets, as toys, as slaves. If someone is very controlling and is forcing you to do things you don't want to do, that's a wake-up call for you. That's a red flag. That's a warning flag that you should be more cautious with this person. The person has no respect for you whatsoever and probably treats you like a slave. And someone sees you like a slave and you try to break away from them. Guess what? The master does not want the slave to be free. If the master does not want the slave to be free, they'll try to harm you. They'll try to bring you back to the plantation. They'll try to pull you back to that slave ship, that fake relationship you guys have. They'll try to pull you back into it by hook or crook. If they have to kill you, they have to kill you. There are no runaway slaves here. That's their mindset. There's no runaway slaves. There can never be a runaway slave. So if you're living with someone who's controlling, or you get into a relationship with someone, be slow with the relationship. Do not force things, because you may end up with a very controlling person who sees you as nothing more than a slave, as a pet, as a toy. And the slave master does not want his slave to run away from them. No matter how depressed that slave is, no matter how suicidal that slave is, the slave master would never want the slave to run away from them. And you don't want to be the slave of someone else. So you have to be careful in life, Take things slow, take things gradual. Even when the world wants to force you, down a path, slow down and think, is this the path I want to go down? Even if it is the path you want to go down, right? Still slow down. There are always hiccups along the road, There are always problems that come up with every business has problems. Every venture you go into has problems. The future will always be filled with problems. That's why you need to slow down. The future will always be filled with problems. No one lives a perfect life in this world. This world is a world where, good things happen and bad things happen. And bad things will always happen. It's only a matter of time. So in order to prepare for the bad things, you have to slow down and take this slowly. Build up the leg strength before you can walk. Learn how to crawl before you walk. Do not just start running, because the moment you fall, you'll never be able to get back up again, because you didn't know how you got up to begin with. If you didn't know how you got up to begin with, how can you get up when you fall? Do not rush things in life. Slow things down. Make things a slow and gradual process. And all the big things, all the problems that would have, tripped you off permanently, you take your time to figure it out before it becomes a major problem. The problems that would have tripped you up in the future, if you slow things down, you'll be able to figure out how to deal with it right now, so that in the future, if it happens again, it'll be easier for you to to deal with it. This is how life works. The people who rush ahead never go far. And that's how life works. The people who run fast rarely ever run far. It's basic science. If you run fast, you rarely ever go far. While the person who walks may go farther than you. They're marathon runners, and they're regular racers. People who run track, right? And people who run marathons. People who run track rarely ever go far before they get tired. And that's how life works. If you speed up in life, you rarely ever go far. But that marathon runner, that person who's barely running, can run for miles on end, without ever stopping. While the track runner, the fast runner, you can't even run a mile without getting tired. You can't even run a mile without resting for another hour, 2 hours, or even a whole day. And this is how life works. If you rush ahead, you will never get far. It's just basic science. You can only take things one step at a time. Slow and steady wins the race. And that's not false logic. Slow and steady. That's how you get to the end. If you rush things, you fall. So, in life, even though I see a lot of things, I'm not forcing you down the path. I'm not trying to force you down a path or any path, Make conscious choices for yourself. Each person is different. Since each person is different, you know what you like more than I do. You know what makes you happy more than I do. Chase what makes you happy. Chase what brings you joy in life. Chase after what brings you meaning in life. Chase after the things that doesn't make you feel like committing suicide. Chase after the things that doesn't bring you anxiety and stress. That doesn't make you feel like killing someone. Chase after those things that put you in a happy mood instead of in a depressed, suicidal, or homicidal mood. Take things slow and enjoy life. Life is meant for you to enjoy. God has, brought you here so you can experience life. And life has good things and bad things. You're here to experience the good things as well. Take your time to experience the good things in life. Life is not all bad. There are a lot of good things in this world. Many good things in this world. But you must first stop and look around and look for those good things in life. Stop rushing ahead right now and stop and look around. Look around you. Find out what you like and go towards the right path for you in life. If being a good Christian is what you like, chase after, being a pastor, a priest, or something, If that's what you enjoy in life, go after that. If that's not what you enjoy in life, it's still okay. Not everyone has to be a pastor in this world. God did not make everyone a pastor or a preacher. You were not born a pastor, Not everyone has to be a pastor. Not everyone has to be a preacher. Not everyone has to be the Pope. Not everyone has to be a cardinal. Just be a good person. Just be a good person, And you can't be a good person if you're caught up in sin. You can't be a good person when you're living in misery. It's hard to be good when you're suffering. It's hard to be a kind person when you're suffering. So look for the good things in life, and you'll find it easier and easier to be a kind person. If you do all the things that make you happy, you'll find it easier and easier to be a kind person. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be yourself, and God will love you the same. You don't have to be the best in everything in life. You just have to be yourself. God created you perfectly the way you are. You are perfectly yourself, and God is happy that you are you. You don't have to be someone else. You don't have to be someone else in life. Be proud that you're you. Be proud that you are yourself. Yes, you're not the best, but God doesn't care whether you're the best. God loves you because you're you. God does not love you because you're the best. God loves you because you're you and no other reason. So you don't have to be the best. You just have to be yourself. Enjoy life and chase after what makes you happy. And God will bless you for it. God will bless you for being kind. God will bless you for being happy. God will bless you for not being a fake person. God will bless you for not chasing evil things. God will bless you for that. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.